Okay. Hey, gang.
Where's the music?
I didn't play it because you don't have the thing on.
Yeah, you can do the thing.
I don't know how to switch it on the thing.
Oh, let me do it for you. Here, say hi to your gang and I'll get this going.
Hey, gang. If you couldn't tell, I'm here with Producer Myke. We're trying to get our act together. It's been an interesting day. What are you? Okay, so show me how to do it then. He's pushing buttons. Push that button, then push that button. So once again, people, sorry for the delay. Sorry I haven't been able to schedule guests. Myke is here. Poor Myke. I pulled him away from something in order to do this.
I was working.
He was working. I was sitting in his studio just watching him work. And he finally said, all right, let's go record so you get the fuck out of here.
You like watching me work, though.
I was watching Seinfeld. So
well, yeah.
I was watching Seinfeld over your shoulder.
See, that's what I do. Yeah. Some people listen to music.
Yeah.
I watch TV shows.
Yeah.
And movies in the background. Mostly TV shows of things I've seen a million times. Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, The Office.
Yeah.
It's just background noise for me.
Our friend Emily, who owns Nordica. Yes. She just watches horror movies all day long on her phone. Just has horror movies playing all day.
At a kid's toy store?
I don't know if she watches at the kids' toy store, but at the other job in her office, she just leaves them there while she's typing away, whatever.
Horror movies. That's all right. Good on you, Emily.
Well, you know her. She loves Halloween. She celebrates Halloween like all year.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have a lot to talk about.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, first of all, the Olympics just ended.
Yes, they did.
You and I are both obsessed with the Olympics.
Yes.
You did track and field in high school. You're very big into sports. You do softball right now.
I did indoor track only as a conditioning sport to get ready for baseball.
Okay.
I was never really like trying to win states or any of that kind of stuff. I barely went to the meets.
Okay.
But it was the training and conditioning for sprinting, you know.
But you're super into sports.
I am.
Regardless.
I am.
You're a super competitive individual yourself.
Sure.
Which I am not in any way.
Yep.
Well, I say that, but then when I'm in the moment, I'm very competitive. Like trivia, as you know.
Yeah, you don't want to lose at trivia.
I do not enjoy losing it.
Which I heard you did recently. But that's a story for another time.
Is it for another time? You want to talk about it.
You tell me.
You brought it up.
You're the one who lost at trivia.
First of all, I refuse to admit that we lost. We did. We lost by bullshit.
By technicality?
By bullshit.
And this was our friend Mo putting it on.
Yes.
So tell me about it. I know you've been dying to tell me about it.
So my mom and I, they were doing a fundraiser for the park that Mo manages. And it was the first time they said, hey, we're going to do this trivia event. Come on by. You can get a table for 4. That's like, your max number of your team. You can get 4. Okay, whatever. Well, everybody was busy that weekend, like literally, including you.
Yeah.
Everyone I invited was out of town that weekend.
I would have done it too because he was over here asking me if these were good questions.
Yeah.
Well,
he did that because he knew you couldn't come. He told me.
Yeah, I still would have told him I'm not going and then went anyways and then be like, what are you talking about?
That would be interesting to see his reaction. I wonder if he'd let you play or not. But
he'd have no choice if he wants my donation.
That's fair.
You know?
So it was just my mom and I. We were the smallest team of 2. There were 3 other teams there. All of them had 3 to 4 players on each team. Okay. I liked the idea. He had 10 different categories and then multiple questions pertaining to each category. So there was a theme each round.
Yes.
You kind of knew what to expect. And every so often he would throw in what he would call, a daily double, whatever. So you can...
Which I'm cool with. I love that.
Which is fine.
That's great. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so you can wager. His rule was you can wager whatever you want provided that you end up with at least 1 point remaining. So everyone has to have a point on the scoreboard.
Okay. That's interesting. I like that.
I guess.
I like that. Okay.
I mean, a loss is a loss. So what does it matter if it's 0, if it's 1?
It can go to 0, yeah.
Whatever. So, okay, fine. So we were always conservative with our daily doubles. Mm-hmm. But in doing so, even though it was just my mother and I, we still dominated the entire game. We were at least 10 points ahead of everybody the entire game.
Okay.
And he had categories like, famous female history, which I should say, of all the 10 categories, female history, there was only 5 questions. He had one about the town of New Milford. There was 15 questions about the town of New Milford.
Well, I mean...
He had one about
that's perfect.
He had one
loves
about
New Milford.
serial killers. He had like 12 questions about serial killers.
Yeah.
5 questions about famous female figures in history. Like, stop.
Well, I mean, have there been 5?
Stop it. You're an idiot.
Uh,
You're an idiot.
JK.
Anyway.
JK.
But like my mom and I were like feeling really good. We were really impressed with ourselves. Like, because, you know, we've been playing trivia for a really long time.
Yes.
So even like certain subjects like geography, which, you know, certain things that weren't our strong suit.
You still got some, yeah.
Even like the serial killer one, like I don't watch serial killer shit. I still haven't seen Dahmer. Like that's not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, but everyone knows who John Wayne Gacy is.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
You know.
So we did really, really well.
Yeah.
For 2 hours, we dominated. We were 10 points ahead of everyone the whole time.
Yeah.
The final round was 1 question from each category.
Okay.
So he would say, okay, so this one's about Disney, this one's about serial killers, da da da. But he, and you know this, our pal Mo likes to be creative. And he likes to do different things.
Yeah.
Because I think really it's just to entertain himself. It's not really for... it's not
that's
for the
his whole reason to exist.
It's not for the entertainment of the people participating. It's purely for his own entertainment.
If you listen to the podcast that him and I have, right?
The bar is low with Myke and Mo.
Yeah, his jokes are to entertain himself, and my jokes are to entertain myself at his expense.
Yeah,
you know. At least he takes the high road.
Right.
Yeah.
So he came up with the bright idea of the entire final round to be a daily double round. So you wager for every single question for all 10 questions.
So it just starts
wager
to
every
balloon.
Time. So of course everybody below my mother and I go big or go home.
Wager
go
it all.
Go home,
wager it
go
all.
Go big or go home. Oh fuck! I hate that goddamn phrase. So. Granted, sometimes it helped people. Sometimes it didn't. The scores were just going up and down, up and down. My mom and I were still wagering very conservatively. Like 10 points here, 11 points there. You know, I think the most we wagered at one time was like 50 points because we just don't know the level of questions we're going to get.
Was that a lot? Is 50 a lot? Like what were the point numbers at this point?
So
like when you got to final
so
Mo.
At that point, we were at like 85 points and then everybody was below us.
Okay, so that was after the entire...
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
So as the round goes on, and people are... And again, some of his questions were softball questions. Some of his questions were a little... You had to really think about it, you know, whatever. And... So we just didn't know question to question what it was going to be. So we were trying to be smart about it. We didn't want to just lose the whole pot on one question.
Sure.
Well, everybody just went bananas. Like the team in 4th place on the last question, they had 103 points. So they wagered 102 points. So they went I think they got like 2nd place or something at the end. So we went from 1st place for 2 full straight fucking hours to 3rd place, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
And he only had prizes for the 1st and 2nd teams.
Well, that's a shame.
It is. But so we just left and we were like, cool. So we just spent 3 hours and the first 2 meant nothing. You know what I mean? Like I understand. Like
I like the format.
Yeah, the format was good. It was a nice variety of questions. It was a nice variety of topics that anybody could have, you know, get a leg up on one way or the other.
Maybe instead of it being, you know, daily double style, it was, you know, bonus points or something like that. Like I like bonus points.
You should like cap it. You should say, okay, you can bet like up to 20 points if you're going to do it every question for the last 10 questions. Make it reasonable. Don't let people go out of control with it.
Or that's what happened. Make them worth 5 points instead of
right. That's
1.
What. Yeah. And then my mom had made the comment. She's like, "Well, you should get some kind of credit for answering the most questions correctly."
I'm okay with that. Like bonus,
like you said, like some kind of bonus points, whatever. So it was just kind of disappointing at the end. I mean, we didn't know what the prizes were. We didn't care what the prizes were.
Yeah.
That's not the point. But again, like I said,
that's never the point of trivia.
In those situations is when I'm competitive.
Yeah.
So when I lose, I'm sour grapes about it. So what are you going to do?
I don't know. I don't do too many trivia nights. There's one that I have to make every single time.
Yeah.
There's it's twice a year. The Lions up in Washington.
Yeah.
Have this massive trivia night. And I have to say, probably the most difficult of all the trivia nights
now, why
I've ever
is
gone
that?
to.
Like, are they just like history heavy? Are they like really specific as far as like you have to get this date right on the money?
They're all over the place,
Yeah.
but some it's I would just say it's just the caliber of question, just the actual questions themselves.
Yeah.
Some of them, because you can have I think up to 8 people on your team, right? So the level of obscurity sometimes is pretty high.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's questions for I guess I would call them generationally biased. Sometimes it skews young, sometimes it's old. I'm not saying it either way.
Yeah.
But so it's very, very difficult. And my team, I think we've gone to like probably a dozen of these over the years.
Yeah.
We've won 2 of them.
Okay.
Which is a massive. And then when you win, the next one you go back, you're at the middle table with the golden tablecloth. They give you a bobblehead of Albert Einstein.
Nice.
It's a whole thing. And the prize for, I mean, there's a cash prize for winning, but you always just donate it back anyway. So there's no prize for winning.
Yeah.
It's just you get to sit in the middle, you sign the tablecloth, you get the Einstein.
That's awesome.
And there's nothing else at play. And they have a raffle and some door prizes and stuff like that. And it's a great night. But like some of the trivia is just crazy. Sometimes I think their answer is wrong, but they have a "you're not allowed to challenge our answer" policy.
And Mo
which
had
I
that
hate,
too.
which
Mo
I
had
hate.
that for his as well. But he prefaced it. He said, "I'm going strictly off like whatever research I did online." So he's like, "You can challenge it all day long, but I'm telling you this is what I found."
Which I'm fine. I'm
so
fine
that's
with
fine,
it.
yeah.
Although, like one time, one of our friends is a cop. And there was a Connecticut traffic law question.
Yeah.
And they got the answer wrong.
Right.
And he protested. They didn't want to hear it. So we referenced the statute and ended up getting it overturned. So sometimes they had a little, there's a little give and take. They're human. We're all human.
Right. He's just give them a ticket after.
It is the hardest 100, and it's not categorized. They tried categories once and it was a complete flop.
Interesting.
So like it'll be, this will be some World War II question, and then there's like a 20-digit multiplication question next.
Yeah.
And then there's a sports question and the pop culture, music, So everyone goes with different. I'm the sports guy.
Yeah.
I am the history guy.
Yeah.
My wife is there for the Bible stuff because that was ingrained into her.
Oh, interesting.
And 80s, 90s television. Right.
Yeah.
The music, everyone kind of dabbles in the music side of things.
Yeah.
She's obviously there for the medicine. We have an engineer at our table. We have a police officer at our table. We have 2 teachers. We have, I guess there's a couple people in the sciences here. Environmental science, and an electrician.
Yeah.
There's a veteran. There's so we're all over the place. We got it.
Yeah.
It's the hardest trivia. I implore you to put a team together for that.
I want to.
Implore you.
Mike Ron Steve would love it. Maybe we can get him in town for that. When is it?
Well, he's not going to be on
towards the end of the year. No, absolutely.
There's one in November. Usually April and November is when they do it.
Okay.
And the best part is it's bring your own food, bring your own drinks.
Nice.
So people bring the most amazing spreads. Well, we figured out, and it's all for charity.
Right.
It's like $75 a table or something. So we get 2 tables.
Oh, nice.
We have a food table.
I love it.
Just all food.
I love it.
And then we have our table.
Brilliant.
And people look at us like we're crazy. And they always put us in the corner because we're the loudest ones.
Yeah.
I mean, like we're the table that like it's the only table that people will be hooping and hollering. There'll be like a Hawk Tuah reference that will just scream at some boomers or something, and they'll be like, "What's going on?" So I got on our table and danced when we won last time. We do a shot before every round, so we get tanked.
Jesus Christ!
But we still win.
Yeah.
Which is great. The shot is a homemade limoncello, thanks to Yvonne and Joe.
There you are.
Yeah.
But I will say 8 is too many. We try not to fuck with more than 4 in our group.
Yeah.
Just because we have found over the years that when you have a large team, you tend to talk yourselves out of answers.
We've noticed that too.
Which happens a lot.
But the problem is, so we have 2 sides of the table. Right. So me, Tara, and Joe are usually sitting right here, and we're like the gatekeepers. Right. And then like every now and again, we'll be like, oh, you might know that answer. So we'll open it up to the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
And every now and again, like we'll overflow and we'll put people at the food table.
Yeah.
And be like, and we'll just see if the peasants
Yeah.
can, get a higher score than us? They never do.
Of course.
They never do. But there's the gatekeepers, me, Joe, and Tara, because it's kind of where the
Micron Steve tries to be the gatekeeper, but then he'll turn around and he'll try to be magnanimous and be like, if that's what you think, I'll defer to you. But then if you're wrong, you're dead to him, and he's going to key your card.
It's happened so many times where we had the right answer and we put the wrong one down. It happens. It happens.
Well, that happened to me with Mo. There was one question in particular that it was worded kind of funny. And I actually got my own facts wrong. I wrote it down right, the answer, and then I talked myself out of it. But
oh no,
that happens.
Don't do that.
Well, again, we were still fucking first for 2 hours.
Well,
3 hours of my life down the drain. Yeah. But whatever.
But I like the 8 over there because of the level of obscurity.
Yeah.
It's like you need niches.
Yeah. Like I said, Mo's was very good. It was a nice variety, but what are you going to do?
There was one category that he had that I told him not to do.
He had a Disney category. And it was funny because there was the team next to us. This girl she was covered in Disney tattoos.
Oh.
So they were like, oh, that's amazing.
Hot.
They did not do well in the Disney round. Not at all. And half of that was Star Wars, which I didn't think I was going to do. I got every goddamn question right. I was shocked. I was surprised by my own self.
Star Wars that should be its own category. Don't loop that in with Disney.
Well, it is now. Disney looped it into Disney.
I guess. So were there Marvel questions in the Disney category?
Yep.
Were there National Geographic questions?
There was not.
That's stupid. Just because it's on.
Well, again, there was geography.
Nah.
There was, certain things.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. It's its own
There's
thing.
no pleasing you.
It warrants its own category.
Yeah. But even there was a sports category. Like even the sports category, we did pretty well in, surprisingly.
Originally, it was just a baseball category. And I told him, I was just like, you got to expand on that.
Wow.
Not everybody is you.
Right. But my mom
And that's what I tried to tell him when we were doing all of these questions. I was like, not everybody is you.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
Right.
But I think the final questions that he came up with were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were good. But again, the very last one was a serial killer, and the answer was John Wayne Gacy. So it was a softball one. It was a softball one.
Yeah, no. You can't do that if it's gonna be double or nothing. You can't. You can't do softball.
That was the final question of the 3 hours.
What? Who was a killer clown?
And the answer was John Wayne Gacy.
That's
so everyone, of course, got it. But again, we weren't bidding 100 points.
Yeah.
So we were in third.
See, I would have gone more obscure for the final.
Yeah. So of course I'm texting Micron Steve and I'm like, I was in a trivia game, the kind that you hate. And he was like, wager at the end. I was like, yep. And every fucking question was a wager. He's like, yeah, bullshit.
Well,
what are you going to do?
What can you do?
Yeah. But anyway, Olympics. Have you ever covered the Olympics working with CBS Sports and...
Well, NBC's got it.
Okay, yep.
But no, I was never part of coverage of it.
Yeah.
I always did documentary video content working with athletes, but never on the network side of things. The closest I got was a show that was for the Olympic Channel, which is an NBC Sports property. And it was a really stupid idea I had. And somehow they were like, we're going to make that into a TV show. It was called Global Games, which, it was supposed to be a multi-season thing. So the name would have made sense.
Right.
But it was basically just stupid beach games inspired by Olympic sports.
Okay. So
sumo suit volleyball and inner tube curling type stuff. Real not athletic. I love the ice machine. So it was those types of stupid beach games, but with Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was like Asafa Powell just wins the gold in the 4x100 relay in Rio with Usain Bolt, and then hops on a plane to Greece to come and meet me and do the stupidest games possible, chicken fighting with giant boxing gloves.
But my very first thought is if I was a professional athlete and I knew a competition was coming up or whatever, I'd be like, no, I can't do this because I might get injured doing something really fucking dumb.
But this was right after the Olympics.
Yeah.
So
after,
don't really care.
But still,
at that point.
Yeah.
You just won your medal. He still had his gold medal with him. Like
Nice.
it was really cool.
Nice.
There were Winter Olympians, there were Summer Olympians, and then there were also like some sports influencers who weren't Olympic athletes, but still athletes in their own right. And it was, it was pretty a pretty great show. I'll never forget on one of these pre-production meetings where they were shitting on the influencers when compared to Olympic athletes, and I tried to defend some of these influencers as athletes, and they were like, "No, we're talking about Olympians.
Right.
You don't understand." And I was like, no, I guess not.
Well, so speaking of, I had a whole debate with my mother about the breakdancing and how she's like, I don't understand how this is an Olympic event. And, and I kept saying, I was like, you can't do what they do. And then we saw the breakdancing, in particular Ray Gun from Australia.
Oh, that wasn't breakdancing. That was what
it was freestyle. It was
contemporary. It was hip hoppy, I guess.
But I mean, but really, you know,
I say that was interpretive dance is what that was.
Well, you know, because I was saying to my mom, I was like, they have worldwide competitions. They have international breakdancing championships.
Yes. Yes.
That's what we're used to seeing. That's not what we saw. Even Ray Gun aside, the people that did win, the people that did compete, none of them really blew my mind. Like, again, I certainly can't do any of the things that they do.
Yes.
However, it's like, but we've had all of these shows. Like, I've seen the Jabberwockies on MTV. Like, there are all these other breakdancers that do way more things, way more entertaining things, way more, you know, just unbelievable. I can't believe a human being can pull on these moves and all this. It was very lackluster, and so they turned around and said, "Yeah, we're not doing this anymore."
Yeah, I
it was
really,
a nice try.
It was. I mean, there are some things that happen in the Olympics that I don't necessarily think warrant or merit being an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Dressage being at the top of that list for me.
Okay.
Which, you know,
that's fair.
Is horse prancing in so many words. You can make a horse walk with high knees at a 45-degree angle. Like, that's okay. If anything, give the damn horse the medal.
That's what I've
give
always
the horse
thought.
the medal.
Why isn't the horse getting the medal?
The horse is the athlete.
They did the work. Yeah.
But I guess it's the communication. It's the directing the horse to do it. Sure, whatever.
But they have horse shows for that year round, just like we have dog shows. Are they going to bring dogs to the Olympics?
Well, that's actually a great analogy.
You know,
Westminster, the Kennel Club dog, is that going to be an Olympic sport?
Right.
I don't think it should be.
Agree. Right. I would agree with that.
And in the same way that, you know, I don't think that the dressage necessarily should be either.
Yeah.
You know, equestrian sports, it's kind of tough because there's a non-human element to it.
Right.
Which I think is my main issue with it being an Olympic sport. There's a non-human element to it. If, you know, obviously track and field is just, you know, strength, speed, agility, all human characteristics. If there was, I don't know, if all of a sudden it was, you know, rather than long jump, they threw that, you know, that when you go to a fair and they have the dog jumping into the pool type thing. Like, that's the track and field equivalent of dressage,
right?
In my opinion,
right?
So yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. You know what? It's the same. There's motorsports is another thing that I would rather have motorsports be in there than dressage, because at least it's controlling an apparatus, i.e. the luge, which is an analog apparatus.
Well, and again, there still is, you know, that the G-force factor. It's putting your body through a lot in that time, and there's still that danger aspect. But
there's no other sports out there that in the Olympics, anyways, that have another animal. Another live animal that you're reliant upon. Because I don't care how good that... are they still jockeys? Dance jockeys. We'll call them dance jockeys, okay? I don't know, and I don't care how good the dance jockey is. If you put him on a dumb horse, dance jockey ain't going to win.
Well, but again, the argument could also be made, then how come polo isn't an Olympic sport? That's clearly, you know, that would be... I would rather have that than dressage. Because that's still, it's a game. There are still points. There are still...
Yeah, I could make the argument.
You have to communicate with the animal and get the animal to go where you want it to go. But at least it's more, Yeah.
I can see the argument.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
At least there's still goals being had.
Right.
You know, it's basically dressage and field hockey having a Olympic baby.
Right.
Sure.
Or croquet. Yeah.
Give it to him.
Yeah.
Croquet. Yeah. Croquet, that's more of an Olympic sport.
Well, so how do we feel about so this is what's really interesting to me. So I read an article about how one of the female wrestlers was disqualified because of weight. She had competed the day before, then she had to weigh in again the next day for a competition. And I just competed. I need to eat. So she was overweight by the equivalent, the article said, of a bar of soap and was disqualified. Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, if I'm wrestling someone and they're a bar of soap heavier than me, I'm sorry, that's not a disadvantage. Like, how is that? That's ridiculous. But yet, they said at least 20% of the athletes had COVID.
Yes.
Now, mind you, back during COVID, when they had the summer games, everybody had to compete in masks, and they did. Mm-hmm. That was not a thing this year. Yeah. They said, it's up to you if you want to compete. Go ahead. Yep. Okay. Well, okay, that's fine. I get it. If you have the flu, whatever, you're an athlete. This is what you trained for. This is your life. You should be able to compete. But you're not putting them in a mask. You're not saying, hey, if you test positive, you should be wearing a mask like you did 2 years ago.
Well, here's the thing. COVID, people don't care anymore.
Apparently.
People don't care anymore.
Apparently.
I think I had it 2 weeks ago. I don't even know. Okay. I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure I did. Did I test once for it? No. Great. I didn't.
But again,
because I think COVID kind of took care of the people it was going to take care of, and now it's just a thing. Let's just put it that way.
Well, but so the whole thing with Noah Lyles really kind of pissed me off because, yes, okay, you still medaled, you got a bronze, you competed.
Sure did.
But the fact is, you've been walking around for 2 days knowing full fucking well. He hugged his mother who has gray hair. He hugged all the other people that he competed against. Fuck you. Put a goddamn mask on before you're going around fucking hugging everybody.
I'm sorry. At this point in time, we may actually disagree about something for a change. At this point of time, I don't know if I know anyone who hasn't had COVID yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I think we're kind of at the point, and I don't know if it's herd immunity. I don't know if it's individual immunity based, whatever.
Yeah.
People's got their shots, whatever it is. Right. At this point in time, it's kind of just like, well, it's here. We're not going to modify our lives for it.
But again, they had them compete in masks before. At the very least,
that was different.
They can't say, hey, if you're testing. But
that was at the height of it.
But you know what? Like the optics of it still, though. We want people to be responsible.
The optics have changed, and responsibility is a thing of the past.
I know.
No one thanks their nurses anymore.
That's terrible.
Remember when people were like, we're going to donate 1,000 chicken wings to the ER.
Right.
Which was a fundraiser I participated in. We're going to send it. Thank you, doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
no one's thanking them anymore, so things have changed. The same thing.
What does that say about our culture, though, that we just reward people in food? We just reward in food. Like, oh, nice job. Here's a pizza.
Well, they were working around the clock with people actually dying.
No, but again,
we're not at the point where there's like, I had a friend who lived in Greenwich Village right by a medical center, and they literally had refrigeration trucks of bodies during COVID.
Yeah.
That was an actual thing. COVID's not doing that anymore.
But again, to me, 1,000 chicken wings is not a reward. Like, how about everybody donate?
It is if you're hungry.
How about everybody donate $50 and we'll give them gift cards, so at least, put a little money in my pocket. I don't want another fucking chicken wing. I want cash.
I will say this though. Will say this though, because there was an ulterior motive in all of that in keeping restaurants open.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's why I did it with TK's, because I'm like, hey, TK's, I love this restaurant. I love your chicken wings. I don't want you to shut down. Let's do this thing. Okay. And we did it multiple times.
That's fair. All right. I see that.
Nowadays, if I was to show up with 1,000 chicken wings to an ER, they'd be like, you need to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You need to leave now, sir.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that anymore. In the same way that I'm not thanking them anymore. I mean, I thank my wife every day, I guess. I don't know. She's a medical professional.
Jesus. Yeah.
But it's So in that same respect, I think it's not even just with the Olympics and athletics. It's the real world. People don't get a cold now, and their first thought is, I should go get COVID tested. That's not a thing anymore.
I mean,
it used to be a
I
thing.
still do that.
It used to be a thing. Well, you're a better person than the rest of us.
You know?
But it's not.
I say it every day.
It's not people's first reaction anymore.
Okay.
It's the same. Now everyone reacts. Even if they have COVID, you treat it as a cold or as the flu. I mean, if you have the flu, you have a fever. Sometimes if COVID gives you a fever, it'll lay you out and you're not going around.
Yeah.
But the guidance on the government side has also changed. What is it like?
Well, it's like
48 hours and you're fine now. Remember, it used to be like 10 days of quarantine.
Yeah, I think it's after 48 hours you're no longer contagious. That kind of thing. It's like the same thing when you go to the doctor and you get a pill. Like take this, and then 24 hours later.
But that's the thing. It's the evolution. It's the knowledge base. We know so much more about COVID than we did before.
Sure.
And
but still,
it's the Olympics. It's a whole life's worth of work.
We should have learned our lesson. I feel we had 2.5 years. We
haven't learned our. We're human beings. When has this race ever learned its lesson?
If I have the flu, I'm not going around fucking hugging people, especially not people from other countries that are then getting on a plane to go back home.
I guess.
I mean, I still wear a mask on an airplane because I see
what you're saying.
I don't trust the streets, but
no, but I mean, last time I flew, I also wore a mask, but I think it's. I mean, that air is just gross to begin with.
Yeah,
that masking thing should have started a long time ago. But I'm not there wearing face shields. I remember when I wore face shields while flying.
That's terrible.
Ooh, that was a thing.
Well, no, but like even before I left for Australia, that whole week prior to Australia, I was wearing a mask at work. And everyone's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to go on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to fuck up my vacation of a lifetime. Thanks.
Smart.
And they got it. Everybody, oh yeah, makes sense. Good for you. You know, da-da-da. So what the fuck? I just... put a fucking mask on.
Yeah,
Christ.
but if tests aren't required anymore, it's a thing of the past.
It's wild.
And for what it's worth, coronavirus did exist prior to COVID-19.
Sure. Yeah.
It's always been here.
Yeah.
It's been on the back of the Lysol can for decades.
Okay.
So I'm just saying. So it's nothing new.
Okay.
It just had a little I don't know. It got bar mitzvahed. Everyone paid attention for a little bit. And now it's like, oh, you're a stupid adult like the rest of us.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So there you go.
So I want to talk about Summer House for sure.
Oh, do we still have time?
Yeah, we have time. What are you doing?
I'm getting dinner with my wife after work.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Gotta figure that one out.
Working on it?
Yeah.
What are you feeling like? You already had a salad today.
I did have a salad. I had a salad because I played tennis this morning, so I want to be nice and healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to load up tonight because I don't go out to eat dinner and try to maintain a diet. Like if I cared about being healthy and having boiled chicken and rice every day and being boring, I just do that at home. Right. And it costs a lot less.
Right.
I'm going to go out. I'm going to eat probably 5 or 6 different things made with 5 or 6 different types of fat.
Okay.
This thing's going to be in duck fat. This thing's going to be in butter. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a chocolate lava cake probably.
Start with what you don't want. That's how I go. When people are like, where should we go to eat? I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want this.
Holy shit.
That's what I always start with.
That's kind of genius.
Yeah.
What an approach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I always have that issue with Tammy and her husband, because we'll say to her husband, what do you want? I don't know, anything. So we'll throw out shit. No, I don't want that. Okay, let's start with that. Then let's start with what you don't want. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like, I'm not feeling Mexican tonight. I'm not feeling pizza tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start with that.
Okay.
That's how that goes for me.
I mean, yeah. But there's also some things that like I will just always want to eat.
Well, yeah, like I'm never gonna say I don't want Mexican. Like
I'll go to Korean barbecue right now.
There you go.
Every night. Yeah. Every night of the week. Okay. I'll do all you can eat seafood. I'll do any kind of seafood.
Yeah.
Whether or not they limit the portion.
You're such a foodie. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I'll go get Indian food, even though I had Indian food yesterday. I could eat Indian Chinese food. You know what? I recently and I miss having this in our town. Remember, Panda Express was like this back in the day. But it's Panda something in Danbury. But sit down Chinese food, like Chinese restaurant, real restaurant, it hits so much different.
100%.
And I had this egg drop soup the other day that I'm really feeling right about now.
There you go.
I could go for some Chinese food. And if I suggested it, Lori would probably, she'll eat Chinese food 7 days a week.
Who won't?
I love all Asian food.
Yeah.
I love pho.
The leftovers hit too.
The leftovers
are just
good.
Like you look forward
Korean
to
barbecue.
Those leftovers.
Yeah. Honestly, my least favorite food is sushi. But I still love sushi.
I love sushi.
I think the Japanese food is probably the least favorite of my Asian foods.
See, sushi to me is like chili. I don't care what you put in it. it all merges together in that mouthful. So I'm fine. I don't care what, like, put any piece of sushi in front of me. If I have enough soy sauce, it's going to go down. It's fine.
Oh, but you're masking it with the soy sauce.
But because it all blends. Like, same thing with chili. I don't need to know what's in that pot, because it's all going to blend up nice. I'll put a tortilla chip in there, a little cheese. It's all going to blend.
Chili is a little bit different, though, because sushi, I disagree with you, because I feel like you can actually taste the individual ingredient, and you can see the individual ingredients. Even though it's a little sliver, it's a little something after they roll it and cut it up.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, sometimes... I mean, there's definitely the difference between a spicy tuna and a soft shell crab, or an eel or an octopus.
I've had eel,
those are all different things.
Yeah.
Some of them have salmon roe. Some have different types of eggs or caviars, right? So different vegetables. So
you throw a delicious sauce on it, it's fine.
See, I don't like outside of French food and Indian food. I know you live with that principle saucy.
Of like, don't put salt on it before you take your first bite. Don't put, I know you
don't salt it before you
try it first before you add any accoutrement.
Exactly, unless it's like a I don't know, like a prime rib.
Yeah.
Right. You can put horseradish on the first bite, or you can dip it in au jus the first bite.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get with the prime rib.
Yeah.
I mean, there's levels to prime rib. There's Keen's prime rib down in New York is going to be way better than Rosie Tomorrow's prime rib in Danbury.
I would hope so. Shit.
Yeah. And I only go there because I actually had that prime rib within the last couple of months. And I must say, a little disappointed.
I like their nachos. I'm a big fan of Rosie's nachos.
They got some good things.
Yeah.
They got some good things. If they didn't have any good things, it'd be close.
That's right.
So there's that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't like, but just going overly sauce, it's not my thing. Dipping sushi in just an egregious amount of soy sauce, and then you only taste soy sauce.
I've got a boat of soy sauce next to me every time. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I can take your sushi analysis.
That's okay.
As a real thing.
It's all right.
How long is this episode going?
Doesn't hurt my feelings. We're halfway. Would you comment?
No, I'm just wondering, how long is this episode gone?
It's 36 minutes.
36 minutes. Okay.
A lot of tomfoolery in between.
I'm just, well, because I could fill the next half hour still talking about Asian food. So that's why I don't like Japanese food. The best of all the Asian foods.
I need a movie podcast.
Yeah.
You need a food podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Genuinely.
I should do
really
one.
should.
I really should do
you
one.
You do.
And I try to insert into The Bar is Low to my podcast.
I know, but people don't like it.
No, well, one person doesn't like it, and we always talk shit to him whenever we talk about food.
Yeah, but you guys talk about sports a lot too, and I still follow.
Yeah. But I always talk about food because I am somewhat of a foodie.
You are.
I could do this whole episode on Asian food.
Well, let's not.
Why not?
No offense to the.
Have you ever had Filipino food?
I don't believe that I have.
The best Asian food out there.
Listen, there's a ton of stuff I have not had. I've never had tapas. I don't believe I've ever had Thai food.
Okay.
There's a lot. I have had Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue slaps. That stuff is good.
Yeah.
It's just okay.
I don't like fat or gristle.
Yeah.
Meat, and their meat is very marbled.
Depending on the meat. I mean, like a bulgogi, not necessarily heavily marinated and then cooked. It's slivered, so it's always well done. Okay. So yeah, there's that, but there's a lot of the thing that I think turns off most people to Korean foods are a lot of the fermentation, like kimchi. A lot of people don't like the kimchi.
I do really want to try.
Like kimchi.
I want to try it. I've never had it.
You've never had kimchi?
I really want to try it because I told you there was one time I hit one video on TikTok, changed my whole algorithm, and it was literally nothing but Korean stuff the whole day. Mm-hmm. So I want to try onigiri. I want to try that. I want to try kimchi. I know I can't pronounce things. I don't know what things are fucking called.
Best Korean, they have this soup called yukajang.
Okay.
Which is basic. It's like a beef soup, beef-based soup in this bright red broth. It looks like, and it's spicy as shit.
Okay.
And not that shit is spicy, I suppose. I don't know. I've never.
Some could be.
Haven't tried that yet. Yet. But it's so good. And I used to get it all the time when I lived in LA. I lived in Koreatown for a year.
Yeah.
It's where I ate a live octopus. That's a story for me or the octopus.
They only live 2 years. Poor things.
Really?
Something like that.
Yeah. How they get so smart?
Just from birth, man.
Not smart enough to avoid my esophagus that
DNA,
night. Eh?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was at like 3 a.m. I was half in the bag. I'm like, I'm gonna eat this live octopus, and it was
good?
It was a thing. It was one of the most unique dining experiences I've ever had. So
probably could have used soy sauce.
It's moving the whole time. Oh, there's sauces. There are sauces aplenty. You got to dip that thing in sauces. You got to now that's a must sauce scenario right there. Yeah. But yeah, there's ponzus and stuff like that, and they bring this poor animal to the table and just right in front of you, and then it's still slithering as it goes down.
Sorry, Joanne.
Down your gullet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joanne.
Yeah. Mom's a vegetarian.
Well, vegetarian is one thing. Well, live animals another.
She used to be a real vegetarian. Now she's like vegetarian adjacent. So now she tries really hard to stay.
The hell does that even mean?
She'll have corned beef on St. Patrick's. She'll eat salmon. But she's not a big fish person, so I can't say she's a pescatarian. But if there's chicken wings or something, she'll partake. So she's kind of gotten lax over the years.
Okay.
With it.
I feel that.
But still, she's not a big fan of I don't want you to kill the animal directly in front of me before I eat it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a whole different culture.
I mean, of Asian food, I will say.
I mean, she should have, I was talking about Filipino food before. She should try balut.
Okay.
Do you know what balut is?
Do not.
You're going to Google it, and then you're going to be like, this is the grossest thing ever.
Great.
I'm just going to tell you about it, though. It's a chicken egg.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what it is.
And it's been fertilized, and the chicken's half grown.
Yep. I know what balut is.
And then you eat it.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever.
Because bones and all are in there.
Yeah, it was basically like a crunchy oyster of a texture, I guess. No. And I mean, quite honestly, it definitely.
And it's black.
There's black parts.
Yeah.
I mean, I opened up mine and it's just a beak and an eyeball. This will be fun.
Yeah.
And there's this little tiny almost feather that got stuck in my tooth. It was delicious though. It was really good.
Okay.
I understand why it's a delicacy.
Sure.
But then there's a century egg. I'm not down with that.
Those stink.
I've tried it. It's not good. Yeah. I don't understand why it's a thing.
Some people like it.
Some people like it. And I have a policy. I will try everything once. It's been my policy for my whole
well aware. And I
life.
respect that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's things I know I'm not going to like.
Yeah.
But if you give it to me and I've never had it before,
at least you can say, yes, I've had it, not a fan.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's very few things I think at this point that I haven't had.
Spicy shit.
No, not just spicy stuff. I'm just talking delicacies around.
Never mind.
I've eaten horse. Mm-hmm. I've eaten shark.
France is very big on horse.
Yeah. Here's one thing I haven't had: monkey.
Okay.
Because that's a Cantonese cuisine.
I was going to say, definitely you can find that in
monkey
Asian
brain
culture.
was a Cantonese delicacy for a long time.
Yeah.
And I only knew that it existed from Clue, which is one of the best movies of all time.
It is.
As we know.
Indeed.
And I haven't had that. Now, if you showed up here, at my studio and have some monkey brain, probably not going to try it. But if I'm at some place in Chinatown,
right,
or even crazier, if I'm in China, yeah, I'll try it.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's done right.
Sure.
It's got to be done right though.
I would hope so.
No, you bring fugu in here, I'm not going to eat it. But I've had fugu before from an actual Japanese restaurant, and I did not die.
There you are. It's prepared properly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that's the end of the food portion of the podcast.
Anyway, so before we get to Summer House,
it's a big if. There may be a second episode coming.
Which, a year from now.
Well, that's why I was asking you.
This guy down.
That's why I was asking you, because we could do a second episode. We could do another episode and talk more movie stuff then.
We'll have to.
And we can just keep talking food now.
Well, but I want to talk about A Quiet Place Part 1.
Okay.
Or Day One, I guess.
Day One
is what it's called. The third.
The third of the series, but the first in the chronological order of the story.
Precisely.
Yes.
And there is no John Krasinski in this one at all.
I know.
No, that's okay. It's fine. He's got other things. He's good. He doesn't need to be.
He's got imaginary friends and such. Yeah.
Oh, do we want to talk about If?
I thought it was great.
I fell asleep.
Oh, you didn't like it?
For some of it. Oh. I will say it was in the middle of my movie day though. So I had already seen 2 movies prior. So I was just kind of movied out. It was too long for me. I will say it was fine. I enjoyed it, but it was too long. But I just want to share this. Anybody who hasn't seen If, there's a running gag in If where one of the imaginary friends is invisible. His name is Keith.
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds keeps tripping over his character because obviously he's invisible. He doesn't see him. So he's like, Keith, come on, man. Did you see who the credits listed Keith as?
No, I didn't.
In If?
Who?
So again, we're thinking this is a Ryan Reynolds movie, right? Yeah. Brad Pitt.
What?
And why is that funny? You don't know.
No.
Who did Brad Pitt play in Deadpool?
I don't know.
He played an invisible superhero in Deadpool.
That's right.
That's why when I'm sitting in the theater and I'm trying to see who played all the ifs, who voiced all the imaginary friends, and I saw Brad Pitt listed as Keith, I pissed myself laughing.
That's good.
I said, that's the funniest fucking callback I've ever seen in my life. Because Keith has no speaking role. So Brad Pitt had nothing to do with this. That was just an Easter egg for them to reference his character from Deadpool. And I thought that was so fucking brilliant. I loved it. It was so funny.
Well, now here's the question.
Yeah.
Is he credited on IMDb with that?
Probably not. Who knows? He's Googling now.
I'm gonna find this out.
But I just thought that was funny as fuck.
I
really appreciate. That's what I appreciate that shit about Ryan and about John, because they're both so smart and so witty with stuff like that. So I just wanted to share that because I thought that's a fun fact that I think a lot of people have missed from that film, especially because it's a kid's film, so not everybody has seen it. Anyway.
Yeah. No. Hey, look at that.
Is he listed as Keith?
He's listed as Keith.
I love it.
Credit only, though.
Yeah.
It says credit only.
Right, because he didn't have fuck all to do with it. He probably didn't even know about it until after the movie was released.
I know. 228 total Oscar noms.
Shit.
How is that even possible?
Well, because he produced a lot of stuff with Plan B.
Those can't all be Oscars, though. 228.
Well, he's an actor as well. So acting and producing.
Yeah. That's a lot of nominations.
You're just jealous.
The nominations are probably the least thing that I'm jealous of Brad Pitt for.
By the way, team, fun chat, just because we've had, we talked about awards ceremonies with Casey and stuff. So Myke, as we know, has 3 Emmys. 2 of them are here in the studio.
Correct.
I put up a shelf because I was tired of his shitty display of his really impressive awards.
Yes.
So I put up a shelf for him, and I go to put the awards up, and the band with his name around the Emmy was like falling off. I'm like, this is so shittily made. And I'm talking to Myke about it. And you said after a win.
Well, on the stage, they give us the trophy.
Just the generic trophy.
It's a generic trophy. There's no band on it.
Right.
And then they FedEx you the band, and you put it on yourself.
Fucking rinky dink to me.
I guess. I mean, it makes sense as to why.
I guess. I don't know.
By the way, he had 7 Oscar nominations, which makes sense.
Okay.
Moneyball, The Big Short, makes sense to me.
Big Short that's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one to get nominated for.
A little creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, can't eat all 12 of them, I guess. I don't know.
So, Quiet Place Day One.
Yes.
I love that movie. John Krasinski is a genius. He's brilliant.
Yes.
I have one qualm.
Oh, do tell.
There is a cat in the film.
Uh-huh.
The cat is one of the main characters of the film.
Why is that a problem?
What fucking animal is going to survive that situation? That is the quietest cat on the face of the goddamn planet. It never meowed once. It constantly was running away and getting into mischief.
Well, cats are very
animals
stealthily.
Are a liability.
No. Cats are stealthily. You're
going to tell me that cat's not going to purr or not. Well, it did purr, but you're going to tell me you're not going to get a single meow.
If it's a smart cat who knows what's at risk.
No.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Maybe.
Cats they'll call out in danger. No. That was a liability and a half. And the cat never once did nothing. No. That's the only thing I refuse to believe.
Well, what if it was a mute? What if it was a mute cat?
It was not a mute cat.
Those exist.
Yes, they exist, but it was not.
How do you know?
Because I'm pretty sure it meowed before the aliens hit the Earth.
Maybe.
And then all of a sudden for 2 days it was totally quiet. Yeah, okay.
This is a spoiler and a half.
I'm just saying. I saw. So here's the scenario, right? Because you're a cat dad. You're now a dog dad too, which is it's crazy.
Yes, I love cats. Cats are great.
I know, but you have a dog now, which is that just blows my mind.
I have more dogs than cats.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see the day.
It happens.
When I was talking to my theater friends after that film, I said, I pray if if an invasion like that happens, because listen, I don't know how well I would do in a situation like that. Someone had made the point that if you're a gassy person, you're gone like week 1.
Yeah.
I think I'm in trouble on my own.
Or like if you're a loud breather.
Mo. Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
You are out to get it.
I don't mean to be.
He texted me, by the way, just to let me know that he gave my number to someone. So I respect that.
You should have framed your trivia game differently.
My
Mo.
God.
Just kidding.
But I respect. He just texted me saying, "Hey, I gave your number to someone."
Yeah.
The other person was extremely.
They were quick to the
very
text,
quick to the draw. Yeah.
Anywho, so I had said to my theater buddies, I pray that if an alien invasion of that nature ever were to hit, I'm not home for it. Because at that point, I say, my house is gone. I'm assuming there's nothing to go back to. I want my cats
dead.
Not dead, but I want to. Yes. Yeah. Because if I'm home, obviously, I'm going to want to take them with me.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a liability.
Yeah.
It's a liability.
It is a liability.
Just another human being is a liability.
Yeah. Now, there's also, it's worth considering that this movie is fiction.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So you got suspension of disbelief. This cat.
But that
it's a smart
you
cat.
can only suspend my disbelief so much because it's supposed to be based in reality.
So the aliens coming is fine for you, but a cat being stealthily isn't?
If this was a Marvel movie, by all means. If this was a Harry Potter film, by all means. Anything's fucking possible in fantasy land.
Yes.
This is based on it. If this word happened in reality, this is all the things they did were real human decisions. All of a sudden, a wizard didn't come fly down and.
But the cat was named Frodo.
Issue. The cat was named Frodo.
So
that was the cat's real name, and they were going to name it something else. And Lupita Nyong'o said, "No,
I thought it was played by multiple cats.
That's the cat's real name. No, it was just the one cat."
What? Yeah. Get out of here! Hold on.
Oh, for God's
back to
sake,
IMDb.
Google every fucking.
No, back to IMDb.
I'm trying to have a real conversation here with you about liability.
No,
and
but I was reading
situations.
about the cat. Yeah, look. Frodo the cat is portrayed by 2 real cats named Nico and Schnitzel. No, you can't name your cat
Lupita
Schnitzel.
Nyong'o said the cat was originally named Frodo, and they kept it that way. So I don't know. Maybe it's based on it. Maybe in the script it was originally Frodo, and they were going to change it. And then who fucking knows?
I like this. The cats required a lot of training.
Yeah, dude, to not be meowing every fucking 5 minutes.
I guess so. Oh, and they colored the cats.
They were white. What do you have to color them?
Well, it was like so that their markings,
okay, yeah,
they matched.
Yeah, it had like a little gray
had to have
patch,
the same,
whatever.
Hairdo.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. 2 real cats.
Our guy from Stranger Things was in it too. He's very good.
Yeah,
good
but
indeed.
He's no Frodo.
No. But again, John Krasinski, genius that he is. What is his name now? Our guy that was in Quiet Place 2 is back in this one, so that's how we made the connection with him.
I just like I'm about to go down this rabbit hole on Reddit. Not right now, not while we're on the podcast.
Yeah.
But there's all of these stories about how the crew had to be extra calm during filming with the cat, so they wouldn't make the cat go.
So it wouldn't fucking meow.
Yeah. Well,
I'm saying liability. Liability.
I guess it was a heavily trained cat.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a very smart cat.
You can't heavily train an animal for the end of the world.
Cats are like the most stealthily of all the mammals.
Yeah, unless they meow.
But they don't all have to meow.
They all do meow.
Not jungle cats, not always.
Well, they like roar or whatever.
I mean, you don't know that.
What's that? What would you call that? That's not a meow. That's not a roar. What's that? No one's ever said what that is.
It's a rear.
It's a call. Some kind of call.
It's a rear. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a call. It's a rear. It's a rear call.
Now I feel like that needs a name. I guarantee there's probably a name for that. But how do you Google a noise? How do you say, "Hey Google, what's meow?" What is that called? Don't do it.
Hey Siri, what is it called when a cat goes meow?
Bitch doesn't know.
No.
No.
The most familiar sound of an adult cat is meow. No, that's stupid.
Anyway.
Siri didn't get it.
Well, so let's talk about Summer House briefly as we're wrapping up here.
I don't think we even have time for this.
To your date
I think it's a second. No, I'm going to go to the gym and take a shower first.
Okay.
Got to be clean.
I appreciate that about you.
Yep.
Didn't do that the whole time I was here, but that's cool. I got grimy Mike.
Well, I played tennis this morning.
To be fair, you don't smell. So that's
I'm it's one thing I've had going for me for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it's I deodorize because I choose to, not because I need to. And that is what makes me special.
I deodorize because I need to.
Well, that's
you know, that's all DNA shit too.
Is it?
Whether or not your feet stink, DNA. Whether or not you like cilantro, DNA.
Well, I guess
whether or not
makes sense.
Yeah, it's true. So I have stinky feet, stinky pits, and I like cilantro. There you are.
Well, there you go. I am fresh after not showering for 2 weeks and playing tennis every day.
2 weeks?
Well, I don't know.
Myke.
I mean,
I don't leave the house without a shower.
Don't. 18 hours.
Okay. That's not too, thank God. Christ on a cracker.
I know.
Especially you guys, you got all the kibbles and bits down there.
Oh yeah, no, there's a couple bits. No, but yeah, I'll shower last night and then I'll go play tennis today. And then I came here because I thought you were going to be here at noon, and then you didn't show up until 1.
Because you said afternoon you'd be here.
I said afternoon.
Yeah.
I arrived at like 12:01.
How often are you on time when you tell me you're going to be somewhere? Here in particular. I don't want to hear it.
Never.
All right then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
But I was this time. I'm spot on. It's so funny because going into Summer House talking now, my job is literally to make sure everything is done on schedule.
Yeah.
That is my job as an assistant director.
That's probably like the most stressful job of any job.
A lot of people say that being the first AD on a movie is the most stressful of any job on or off the set.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a different kind of stress, I suppose, being a producer, managing money and all that kind of crap, even worse, being the person, if it is independently financed, to be spending their money.
Well, I saw you putting that schedule together, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was a bear of a schedule.
Yeah,
that was a tough one.
Wild.
I think we shot the whole thing in 18 days.
Yeah.
We shot the whole thing in 18 days.
I was going to say it was definitely within a month.
And it was real tough.
You shut down Route 7 for a day.
We shut down the highway for a day. We shut down bridge for a day, a very often crossed bridge.
Yeah.
We shut that down for half a day.
Yeah.
For half a day.
And, gang, I say it all the time. You can never please anybody. Myke and his team did everything they possibly fucking could to alert everyone.
Yes.
Hey, this is going to be closed between hours of this and this. Da da da. And it's not like you ran over. It's not like you had
told the radio people. We had signage up. The mayors of all the towns put it out. Yeah. It was on all the articles.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. People.
And still people.
What's going on today? What did something happen? Was there an accident? Why can't it took me 2 hours to get home? What is going on?
We told you.
Yeah.
We told you for
We
weeks.
definitely told you.
For weeks. I understand people being more upset about closing that bridge because the next closest bridges over the river were either in Newtown or New Milford, like 8 miles in either direction. And 8 miles country road. I mean, 8 miles as the road as the crow flies.
Right.
Like that was probably further of a ride. So I mean that was a massive detour for those people.
Yeah.
So I understand why they were a little upset.
Yeah. But also you make it a point, and so the movie you're working on right now, you're trying really, really hard to get spots, locations filmed still here in New Milford. Why is it so important to you to keep bringing these projects to our cute little small town? Because also the largest town in Connecticut.
It's a less commute for me.
I knew you were going to say that.
So it makes my life easier. No, it's but also...
It can't be a selfish thing.
But no, it's also cool because there's like, we need a cafe, we need a bar, we need a couple of street scenes for this upcoming movie, which I can't tell you who is involved or what it's about or what it's called.
I know.
But I really want to, help some folks out. Location fees are a good chunk of change, right? So if I can rent out a bar and give that bar $3,000 because my friends manage it, here you go. The cafe that I like to go get breakfast at, I don't want them to close. So you know what? You're not open on Monday. How about we come in here and film on a Monday? It would be fantastic. You're not open. You're going to make more money by not being open on that day than you would on a day that you were open.
Well, and it's great too. I mean, again, when I was out in California with Mike, Ron, Steve, I went to the Mrs. Doubtfire house. I went to the Tanner house from Full House. I went and saw the painted ladies that are prominent in the entry of Full House.
From a tourist standpoint, it makes sense.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's the gift. It's the gift that keeps on giving, because once this is on the big screen, then people are going to want to come and see these places.
Yeah.
That are being shown.
Yeah,
I mean, just same thing with Mr. Deeds. Like, they totally highlighted Bank Street and the Green.
People still come to find Deeds Pizza.
Yeah,
like it's still a thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's something that obviously you can't put a budgetary value on that, how much money that really helps out. But if we put this cafe on here and all of a sudden this movie makes it big, and all of a sudden you're gonna have, and we'll even tell them like, hey, we'll use the name of your cafe because it sounds like a Manhattan eatery.
Yeah.
Great. Now all of a sudden you're gonna get a huge boost from that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I mean, it's on this movie, I'm going to be the location manager, not the assistant director, because the whole director's team is coming in. They've done a lot of movies together in a franchise a lot of people know, right? And you know what that is.
Yep.
It is so that whole team is coming in together. The director, AD, director of photography. So I'm location manager, which is great because now I am the single person responsible for all of these locations and negotiating these rates and making sure that these people get paid and whatnot, versus having to rely on other people who don't have that personal connection. So I think it's really cool. We're going to bring stuff here. I'm hoping to use some municipal buildings as well.
Yep.
Helps the tax base.
Yeah.
Town gets some money.
Absolutely.
That's never a bad thing.
Not at all.
So that's my spiel. But the short commute doesn't hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
By no means does that hurt. For sure. Yeah.
So Summer House is featuring Malcolm McDowell.
Yes.
Is there anyone else of note in that anybody would know about, or?
I mean, Jacob Ward was great, and he's been in a few things. Abigail Cowan is awesome. Deborah Monk, who is a pretty much a Broadway legend. Okay. She's in it. She has a supporting role, in which she does sing, and absolutely beautifully, I might add. So there's a couple other names. Obviously, Malcolm McDowell is the biggest one. Everyone knows him from Clockwork Orange and Halloween and a bunch of other roles that he's been in. That was a really cool experience working with him. I haven't worked with anybody quite like Malcolm before.
Really? Okay.
Quite like him. And he was great. I mean, it was funny because I didn't tell him until literally the last day that about my Star Trek fandom. And he was the guy who was responsible for the death of Captain Kirk, which is a kind of a watershed moment in that franchise, right?
A little bit of
a little bit.
Yeah.
And as he's in his car leaving set, I ran up to him and I have my old Dr. Soren Star Trek figure from '94, Star Trek Generations. All I had was a shitty blue Sharpie, so the autograph quality is garbage. It sucks. You've seen it probably, I've seen it. But I still had him do it anyway, and it's so funny because I wanted for 4 weeks working with the guy to just talk to him about Star Trek stories. And some came up while we were talking and I would get involved in the stories, but more so from the film professional side of things, more so than from the fanboy side of things.
Sure.
But yeah, it was really cool, and he really appreciated it. And he said he had an absolute wonderful time working with me, which is great. I got a great couple great photos with the guy, and I'm hopefully we'll see him at the premiere.
Very exciting. So when can we expect to see Summer House in theaters?
Yeah, you never know. They always say it takes a year to edit, and then it ends up taking 3. Sometimes there's going to be pickups and reshoots and stuff like that. So you never know.
But it's like a World War II era.
Vietnam
era. Okay. Yeah. And it's about his grandson connecting with him. Something like that. Is that what it's? Give us a little synopsis.
That is a different movie.
Oh, okay.
The World War II Grandfather Diaries is a different movie. No. It's about so the character that Jacob Ward plays, whose name is Ned, is actually representing the writer-director, whose name is Ed. So this is his actual life story.
Oh, okay.
And in an effort to avoid the Vietnam draft, his parents got him a job in Canada, essentially babysitting a old alcoholic rich man.
Okay, so not at all the film I thought it was. Okay.
Not at all. And
couldn't even get the war right.
That's right. So and you know, as it turns out, this is like every summer they hire a new person and he ends up quitting on the guy, but they have this very special bond that forms over the course of the summer. There's a love interest that he meets up there, who's played by Abby.
Always a love interest.
There's always a love interest. I love Abby. She was fantastic.
Well, listen, I have no problem with
cool.
Abby. I'm just saying.
She was so cool. Yeah, it was just a really cool experience working with all of them. Yeah.
Nice.
And it's going to be a great movie.
I'm sure it is.
And the way that it was filmed, the cinematographer on it, Shelley Johnson, who, I mean, you look at his credits and the list is super long. I'm trying to think which ones Jurassic Park 3 you would like that he shot.
Okay.
Ninja Turtles 2.
Yes.
The Secrets of the Ooze.
The best.
The Secrets of the Ooze.
It doesn't have the best April O'Neil, but the best Turtles movie.
Yeah. He was a director of photographer on... I don't know which Avengers movie, but one of them.
Doesn't matter. Seen him.
So you've seen his work,
yeah.
And he was great. But the aspect ratio that they filmed in 4:3, it was just very unique. The way that he did his framing, his shots. I mean, he was just, and he's the president of the ASC.
Okay.
So he is like he leads all the cinematographers in America. He's the top dog.
Shit.
And I got to work with him, and he was great. And he said I didn't suck.
Hey, there you are.
So there's that.
High praise.
We had a lot of fun, and I went out for drinks with him all the time. That movie turned me on to drinking gin. I was never a gin guy. Now
there you
I
are.
to drink gin. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah.
Well, exciting.
Yeah, that's the only takeaway from Summer House is Myke drinks gin now. Yeah. But not a martini. I'm still not doing martinis.
Okay. Sure.
But we'll get there. And the reason why the gin thing is relevant is because in the movie, the alcoholic is drinking gin nonstop. Like the kid has to maintain a schedule of when he's allowed to give this guy alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And the guy is always constantly trying to find alcohol. And there's a cat and mouse game that happens there. But he's allowed to drink beer at night. And the prop department surprised me by I show up and the beer is called Furman's Lager.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I have a 6-pack right over there.
You do.
Which is a cool movie prop to have.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. So
indeed.
When it wins an Oscar, I'll say, what's my eBay password? That's
well, there you are.
There you go.
Well, so gang, we will definitely have Myke back to talk about
movies,
anything,
career,
everything. Asian food. Yeah, specifically.
Yeah.
But he does have to get out of here. He's got a date with his wife.
Yeah. And I don't want to be stanky.
Appreciate that. I'm sure she does.
It's really just I need to I've been wearing a hat all day after playing tennis, and my hair needs to be fresh.
Yeah.
And ready.
That's how you keep a marriage going, gang. Fresh.
Keep things fresh.
Wash your pits.
That's it.
And
Wow.
Your bits. All right.
Wow.
Well, I'm just saying.
Thanks, gang.
Just saying.
I guess.
This was Try Not to Curse.
Take that, gang.
We will catch you next time.
Bye, gang.
Bye, gang.